Hello, we are live with our amazing team of public health students. Today we will be speaking on matters involving mental health policy. So I will let the team have it from here.
So mental health issues are something like very important because like with pandemic times we have understood mental health issues have become like a dominant feature with everyone. All of us are undergoing stress, and the mental health issues have actually gone up in the last year. The statistics can show us, like there is a 22% rise in all the mental health, overall mental health problems in America and also globally. So CDC actually takes mental health issues very seriously, and they actually say like we have to talk about it because we generally don't talk about mental health issues. But when we talk about it, it's actually like we are educating people, we are including people, like we are understanding people. So we have to talk about it. So let's understand the tagline of CDC, that it's let's talk about it. Let's talk about our mental health issues.
So what is mental health? Right here is the definition of mental health by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act, and it also helps determine how we handle stressors in our lives, how we relate to others, and how we make different life choices. Mental health is important at every stage in life, so it's important, even when you're a child, as well as being an adult and an adolescent. There's not just one part of your life where mental health is important. And then something that we just wanted to make sure to make super clear is that mental health issues are completely normal and they're very common. However, with proper help, such as things like therapy and just different tools, mental health can be improved upon. And in some cases, proper treatment can lead to full recovery from different mental illnesses. So what is a mental illness? A mental illness is basically just any condition, like a mental health condition, that has a negative effect on the way an individual thinks, feels, or behaves. It's generally just some sort of abnormality, with how your brain handles certain situations in life.
And now we will talk about who is at risk of mental illness. A risk factor is something that helps to create problems, and it's important to note that each individual person experiences stress, pain, and risk in different ways. A number of factors that contribute to risk for mental illness include early adverse life experiences. This includes trauma or a history of abuse, for example, history of child abuse, sexual assault, witnessing violence, and this may also include individuals with low self-esteem, cognitive emotional immaturity, difficulties in communicating, medical illnesses, and substance abuse with alcohol or recreational drugs, and experiences related to ongoing chronic medical conditions such as cancer or diabetes, biological factors such as genes or chemical imbalances in the brain. Environmental factors can also include poor access to basic services, injustice and discrimination, social and gender inequalities, and exposure to war or disasters such as the current ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And social circumstances such as having few friends or stable support system, having feelings of loneliness or isolation, neglect, family conflict, exposure to violence and abuse, low income and poverty, difficulties or failure at school, stress from work, and unemployment. And now for protective factors for mental illness. A protective factor is something that helps to prevent a problem. So protective factors for mental illness include the following, such as individual attributes of self-esteem, confidence, ability to solve problems, and managing stress or adversity, communication skills, physical health and fitness, and social circumstances such as social support of family and friends, good parenting, family interaction, physical security and safety, economic security, scholastic achievement, and the satisfaction and success in the workplace. And lastly, the environmental factors that include equality of access to basic services, social justice, tolerance, integration, social and gender equality, and physical security and safety.
All right, so on this slide, we're going to go, I'm not going to read through all of them. I'm going to read through some of the ones that stood out to me. Here are some myths about mental health. So mental health problems don't affect me. Another one that I read is there is no hope for people with mental health problems. Once a friend or family member develops mental health problems, he or she will never recover. Therapy and self-help are a waste of time. And then the last one is prevention doesn't work. So a lot of these myths about mental health are, a lot of people think that these myths are real, and the issue with it is they're not educated on mental health and the ways that you can prevent this. So some ways to end the myths. The first one is to educate yourself. I think that is a huge one. Educating yourself and getting to know the signs and symptoms is, it's prevention. It's the best thing that you can do. The second one is sharing real life examples. I feel as if being able to talk to others and have others, let you know that that's how they've been feeling, or they understand where you're coming from, is really helpful. Explaining mental health has a range of symptoms, so not everyone can have the same symptoms, and that is completely okay. That's a huge one. Mental health is a range of different things. I could have a mental health issue and be completely different than somebody else, and that's something that needs to be normalized, I feel. Listening to and supporting others with mental health concerns, and then sharing stories to overcome these mental health disorders, I feel as if that is huge. And then some warning signs of mental health. You have feeling very sad or withdrawn, trying to harm yourself. I know a huge one right now with COVID is just being very, sad, not wanting to get outside, staying in bed all day, watching TV too much. Others are extreme difficulty concentrating, intense worries or fears, excessive use of alcohol and drugs, and then seeing or hearing and believing things that aren't real. These are some huge warning signs of mental illness.
So 1 in 10 adults in the United States live with a serious mental illness, and 17% of the American youth live with a serious mental health disorder. Mental illness can be experienced by anyone, regardless of their background or cultural taboo, and it may be more commonly seen among people of color and those living with low or middle socioeconomic status due to the experience of social and systemic discrimination, on top of the prevalent genetic predispositions that some people may be born with. As you can see on the screen, about half of the adults in the US are treated for mental illness, and about half of the American youth also suffer from some sort of mental health condition. Considering the fact that symptom onsets may be delayed, a person could be suffering from a mental illness without realizing the cause of their dilemmas, and thus are not able to receive proper assistance for it. This can be traumatizing to some people, and one might even develop a sense of disconnection from themselves with their inner reality and their outward reality with society, because they do not understand what is actually occurring to them or their body. So treatments come in a variety of ways, and choosing the right set of treatments that work for you is paramount. Even people who are given the same diagnosis may have different experiences, needs, and goals, and their selected treatment. One way to improve one's journey with mental health treatment is by clearly defining what recovery is and what their wellness goals are. Another way is to make sure that you select services that support you, whether it is the treatment itself and or the company you surround yourself with, such as a therapist or family or friends. Some of the many ways that a person can receive treatment is via counseling, which is also known as therapy. This can range from learning relaxation skills to reframing your mindset or perspective on certain subjects and readjusting thinking patterns. Other forms of treatment include medication, social support, and education. Social support is a privilege that is not often given to many people, and the encouragement and acceptance that you can receive from social support can help motivate those utilizing treatments and services to continue on this path of mental improvement. Education is another crucial role, because when someone understands their mental illness and are given tools on how to manage it, they are able to acknowledge and address their triggers at a quicker pace and do a set of actions that can alleviate them of their discomfort or pain. Some very basic examples consist of taking their medication, or taking a pause and breathing for a moment, or being alone for a while until one is able to regain their composure. Treatments may also come in the form of brain stimulation therapies, such as transcranial magnetic stimulation or deep brain stimulation, if medication and therapy are not sufficient to relieve symptoms. Another common form of mental health treatment is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is also known as CBT. It is a psychosocial intervention that focuses on challenging and changing unhelpful behaviors and cognitive distortions, such as thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs, along with the regulation of emotions and developing personal coping strategies that address current problems. So when one encounters hardship with their mental health, whether it is for a few weeks or a lifetime, these 5 tips are very advantageous when seeking ways to regain control over your life once more. The first one is finding the right specialist or mental health provider, which is pretty important, whether it is a psychiatrist or a counselor or therapist. And it is imperative to make sure that they are an expert in the illness that you are or may be suffering from. The specialist you choose at first might not always be the best for your situation, and sometimes it takes meeting 2 or 5 different specialists until you find someone who you can trust and truly connect with. The second is making your first appointment count, which is done by being honest. It is crucial that the person who is seeking treatment tells as much as possible about what they are experiencing, of course, within the lines of what they are comfortable with telling, in order for the specialist to have as much information to begin with in order to find or construct an effective treatment. The person seeking treatment might need help, might need to talk, about their health history or answer questionnaires about their mental health experience. The first appointment may also be used to make clear what the person wants or needs in order to get better. And insurance is another topic that may come up, so it is important to address payments with your specialist. The third tip is asking questions, which is key to improvement. Whether the person is starting a new medication or a new form of therapy, the person seeking treatment is entitled to know what the specialist has planned for them. Ideally, the specialist is a point of contact who is trustworthy, reliable, and open-minded. Those questions should be welcomed and answered. The fourth is staying involved with the mental health treatment, which is also imperative, and this may be done by keeping a wellness log where one monitors their own progress, or by asking for the treatment to be altered if there is no difference being experienced. And lastly, the fifth one is living well, which is something that everyone has the power to do. This can be done by creating and maintaining healthy routines, by eating a balanced diet, exercising, and sleeping regularly. Although this may be difficult to establish at first, a goal that one can cultivate is starting off slow and incorporating a new healthy habit regularly until it becomes routine is usually the way that you can go about it. And living well also means being mindful of your needs, knowing your limits, and engaging with social support networks.
So we prepared a few discussion questions, and our first discussion question is has COVID-19 caused more mental health issues? And so we have this video prepared that we're going to show you, but just to, talk about the question really quickly, I think COVID has definitely affected many people's mental health. We've been more isolated than ever. We have had important tools such as social media and just like FaceTime and all that kind of stuff to help, but at the same time, it has just been a very stressful, crazy time. And so there's definitely been a lot of mental health issues caused by COVID.
Indu, can you try and hit play on the video?
I'll try that.
It's not playing? Okay. Let's see here. Can you guys not see the screen? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We saw the screen, but the video wasn't playing. It was just like blank.
Okay.
There we go. That should work.
Not working now?
The current challenges brought about by COVID-19 for people all around the globe are unparalleled and have caused fear, anxiety, and uncertainty for so many of us. We are all going through this together, and it's important to understand that you're not alone in how you're feeling right now, and that there are practical, healthy ways to cope with these emotions. The COVID-19 pandemic has created unprecedented change and a need for a response from everyone around the globe. Many of us are worried about our loved ones and our livelihoods, and there is no one right way to cope with what we're experiencing. Remember, however you're
Can you
feeling,
exit the
there
full
are
screen
others
because
that
you
feel
can't
the
see it
same.
in the full
You are
screen?
not
There you
alone.
go.
Here are a few voices struggling to cope during this time.
I don't know why the video is not working, you guys, so we might just have to move on to the next
It
slide.
works as long as it's not in the full screen. So it just has to be in
Okay.
like the small window.
All right, we're going to try this again. You guys can see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The current challenges brought about by COVID-19
I think the audio is not there.
Cynthia, I think you have to keep yourself unmuted so that it plays the volume.
So I have to be unmuted?
Yeah, or whoever's playing the video.
Oh my gosh.
The current challenges brought about by COVID-19 for people all around the globe are unparalleled and have caused fear, anxiety, and uncertainty for so many of us. We are all going through this together, and it's important to understand that you're not alone in how you're feeling right now, and that there are practical, healthy ways to cope with these emotions. The COVID-19 pandemic has created unprecedented change and a need for a response from everyone around the globe. Many of us are worried about our loved ones and our livelihoods, and there is no one right way to cope with what we're experiencing. Remember, however you're feeling, there are others that feel the same. You are not alone. Here are a few voices of people struggling to cope during this time.
Some days I'm okay. I'm doing my best to adjust. But yesterday, I couldn't stop crying. This all just seems so unfair, and I feel so angry that this is happening to us. I'm struggling to care for my kids and work from home at the same time, and I'm worried about my parents' health. I watch the news and it just seems so hopeless. I don't know how to keep it together.
I feel so lost and sad. So much has changed. I used to have dinner every week with my family, but now I can't be in the same room with them. I really miss them.
I'm missing out on my prom and my graduation. I've literally been looking forward to these things my whole life, and I'm heartbroken.
With everything going on now, I just can't stop my thoughts. And physically, my chest hurts, and I can't breathe. I get nauseous thinking about what could happen to my family and my friends.
Before this happened, I used to worry all the time about getting sick. Now that worry has turned into absolute terror. My heart races every time I have to go to the store. What if I bring germs home with me? I can't stop washing my hands.
No matter how exhausted I am, my sleep is still terrible. I just keep picturing all the things that could possibly happen. Will I ever get a good night's sleep again?
I've been through so much already. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this too. My flashbacks are getting worse and worse.
Honestly, I feel like I'm more comfortable in times of crisis. I'm not sure why I don't feel as upset as everyone else does right now.
I don't know when or if everything is going to get back to normal. I feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. How many people are going to be affected? What does this mean for me and my family?
We've just heard some of the ways people are being affected by the COVID-19 situation. Here are some things that are helpful in building resilience during times of crisis and intense stress. There are a lot of things outside of our control right now, which can be scary. By focusing on the things we can control, we can refuel ourselves and become more grounded and able to focus and cope with all of the things we can't control. One of the most important actions within your control is to follow CDC guidelines to reduce your chance of being exposed or passing the virus on to others. Use social support. No one should go through this alone. There is absolutely no shame in talking about what you're going through with your friends and family, and it's important to be there for others too. Video chat and phone calls are a great way to stay connected. Prioritize self-care. Staying on a regular schedule, exercising, eating a healthy diet, keeping a sleep routine, and taking time to meditate or pray are all important, now more than ever. Be gentle with yourself. During times like this, you will have good days and bad days. Your emotions are most likely heightened at this time. Try not to compare your life to what you see on your friends' social media feeds. There is always more going on behind screens. Helping others can bring joy and gratification. Do what you can to help others, even if it's something as simple as lending an ear or making someone smile. Be kind to the people around you, especially the folks who are still out working, to ensure we all have what we need. If each day feels like an uphill battle, it may help to seek out professional support. To continue helping during this time of social distancing, many mental health providers are using telemental health in their practice. If you can't afford therapy or need to talk to someone right away, you can call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline 24 hours a day at 1-800-273-8255. You are not alone in how you are feeling. There are things you can do and resources you can use to cope during this challenging time. Check out our library for more videos to learn more about mental health, dealing with isolation, and ways to cope. We're all in this together.
Yay! So that worked. Thank you guys for playing that amazing video. It's very perspective.
Yeah, so that video, I think it gave a lot of, it gave a lot of insight on how people are feeling, and then it also gave some great tips for how to deal with it. So then, aside from getting like more professional help, these are some different creative ways that we can boost our personal mental health while we are in this pandemic, since it is definitely hard on everyone. So the first thing that I added was to spend time connecting with friends and family, and making sure to do so safely, obviously. And so some fun ways to do it virtually would be Zoom game nights or movie nights. I know that there's like extensions and stuff that you can put on your computer, and you can watch movies with like your friends and family. Another thing that can make a big difference is just getting outside, going on walks or hikes with your family or the pets, going to a park, the beach, the lake, or even just spending time outside, like in your backyard or something like that. And then the last thing is just to take time for yourself, practicing things like self-care. There's lots of breathing exercises, mindfulness, meditation, and different exercises that you can follow. There's always lots of videos on YouTube of things that you can just follow along. And then nourishing your body with healthy foods and exercise, as well as proper sleep. That can go a long way in just making you feel significantly better. And then the last thing that I added was just to take time to unwind and do activities that you enjoy. Like take the time to just enjoy life and do things that you really want to do.
The next the discussion question we have is how diet and other supplements can help us in balancing our mental health. We know very well, like when we are deficient in some supplements and we have a very poor diet where we don't have vegetables, we don't have the nutrients in that, then we tend to have very bad mood swings that day. We tend to become very angry. So all these holds good. So we are what we eat. So that's what, like, even, like the mission of Assuaged goes. Like we are a plant-based company, and so like we are seeing so many improvements in the society. Those people who are following us and our own interns who follow the plant-based diet, because the research proves that the meat and high fat foods and sugary foods, like they lead to a lot of anxiety and depression. And the first and foremost advice a mental health therapist gives, like an anxious or a depressed patient is change your diet. Okay, eat fresh fruits, eat fresh vegetables, like that's the first thing they are saying. So our diet and other supplements, maybe we are not able to cut down entirely when we go to a party and all that. We cannot say like I want this, I want that, maybe it is not possible. So but when we are at home, like the majority of the time that we have the choice to choose the right food, let's choose the right food. We had a celebrity session where, like Forbes Riley was advising us, like we cannot be eating junk food. What are we doing to us? Like we have to correct ourselves. When we don't eat healthy food, we cannot like question our health, like that's not going to help us at all. We are facing this pandemic times, and in these times, like we have to be very mindful of the diet and whatever supplements we are consuming. So when it comes to the mental illness, we have understood like a lot of myths, lot of like like treatment difficulties, quite a lot of like like issues that are happening in our society, especially during these COVID times. So we need to understand what is it difficult, like when treating the mental illness. I had been working in Singapore in like for the mental health halfway homes, and also like like the depression wards and all that. So I have seen there is a lot of vicious cycle that's running on in life. When someone is depressed, they also have anxiety with them. We call it comorbid conditions, where one person who is mentally ill also has diabetes, also has cancer. When the family is going to take care, we have a statistics from American Cancer Society that people, also from the mental health society, that people who are taking care of their mentally ill relatives, like or their family members, they are actually spending 32 paid hours, unpaid hours per week. That's a lot. I mean, the caretaker is going to fall ill now, and who will take care of them? I mean, we need to have a system, like where the caretakers are like taken care of also. So because they don't have a choice. So when you have, like a mental problem, you will not take care of yourself, and like then you will become like like even more ill, because you won't take a proper diet, you won't be happy, you won't have friends, like because the society has lot of stigma, which Amber actually discussed before. We have lot of myths about mental illness. So all these are vicious cycles, like that just drags a mental health person again and again. And if you take a mental illness, when you treat them also, the relapses are quite common. What do we mean by relapse? Relapse is something like like the problem again comes, like it spikes again and again. With seasons, like people tend to become more depressed. With seasons, people tend to become more anxious. And the transitions, they are not able to handle transitions. I know of a friend who was missing her home and committed suicide because they were just changing homes. And we have to understand the vulnerability of a mental health patient in this. So like we have to include them in all that. We should never have a stigma with them, and understand that like it is not their problem. There is some problem in their brain chemistry that's making them behave this way. So we have to be with them, like we have to understand all these helplines that are available. We have suicide prevention lifeline, and we have like like veterans crisis line and substance abuse helplines. We have lot of these helplines, like which we need to like have it ready. Like whenever some crisis is going to happen, we need to reach out to them for help. Getting help is another one thing. The caretaker should always take help, because a mentally ill person doesn't know to go out and ask for help. So the caretaker should know, and the caretaker should have another person to support, because the caretaker needs to go out, have some social life, and then come back to do their work. So all these comes under societal care, and we need to take care of like the mentally ill people, also the caretakers who are taking care of them. And we need to understand the ripple effect, because this is what making them again and again fall ill. it is not their problem. It's a problem. Maybe it's a genetical one, maybe the traumatic one we discussed before, or maybe some other factors, social factors and everything. So let's be with them, like let's not cause that ripple effect, like let's not be the reason that somebody is mentally ill. Let's be the reason that someone is happy because of us. So we need to be very mindful of that, also understand the ripple effect of mental illness. Now, I just want to know, when, like when the life or faith or God, whatever, the creator, whatever we call, we have something called, like the cannabinoid receptors in our brain. So why, like why we should have those receptors? Like it's because life has understood that the cannabinoid products, the marijuana and all that, like it's going to help us, it's going to help us through the receptors to lift our energy level and lead a very balanced life. So we are going to talk about the CBD products and mental health, how it's going to help. With COVID times, we have understood, like our government, the federal and the state governments have lifted the ban against CBD because they have realized it's very much needed for our society, because otherwise people cannot handle their stress, because you don't have a social life, you cannot be in the same room with your relatives or friends, like all these are getting affected and you are ill, like many people, due to the healthcare disparities, they don't have access to healthcare also. So all these are making, like the mentally ill people even more, like sulk in their life. So I think it's high time we start thinking about the help of CBD oil, the hemp oil and other CBD products, like that are going to help us. So when we see this figure, we can understand what this neuron, which is having a presynaptic and postsynaptic places and all that, you can see the receptors over here. These receptors, if you take cannabinoid products, like maybe like it doesn't have much of THC or something, even the hemp oil, it's going to act as a neurotransmitter. It's going to cause a release of the neurotransmitters, and that's going to help, like increase your mood. And that's not harmful at all. It's totally harmless. And that's why our government is lifting the ban, like in all the states actually. So when we look at the health benefits of the CBD oil, it relieves the pain, it relieves the anxiety. Even post-traumatic stress disorder people, they find a lot of relief from CBD products. And depression, all mental illness, we have evidences rising, like to show the effects of CBD oil. Not just mental illness. You can see cancer, diabetes, seizures, arthritis, and heart issues. I am actually a living example for, like, like the cure of arthritis. I've completely stopped my steroids thanks to the hemp oil, which I'm taking.
So Indu told us a little bit about just like the benefits of CBD. So we wanted to announce some of our products that we will be launching fairly soon. So we're going to have some different CBD gummies and then our CBD hoo-ha spray. And so, yeah, we're excited to share those with you guys, and we hope that you'll be interested in trying out these products.
Awesome, you guys. That was such a great discussion. Thank you so much for just showing up and educating the world. It's so meaningful, all these concepts, and we're learning every day. Your body is a tool in which you can use to your benefit. You are what you eat, and mentality ties into all of that as well. So I would love to honor everybody that's on this call now. And Amber, she's one of our interns. You have any final thoughts before we jump off? Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. I thought everyone did amazing. I think this is something, especially now with COVID, I think this is a huge topic that everybody needs to be talking about, regardless of how you're feeling. And I think it's just super important. I'm really glad we had this discussion.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amber, for joining us. You are a gem, as well as everyone else. And we look forward to our next call with you on it. Yay. She's all outside. Luna, I'm putting you on the hot spot.
Let's see. I just want to say that, I think we kind of addressed this in the beginning, but mental health issues are completely normal, and we do need to end that stigma. So if you are going through stuff, don't be afraid to reach out to other people, whether that's family, friend, or professional. And also just be there for everyone around you, because it's just a tough time for everyone.
That's so true. Thank you so much for that wisdom. Wow, on point. Indu?
Yeah, that was a lovely discussion, friends. We need these mental health issues to be addressed, and that's why Assuaged is bringing even the CBD gummies and all to the people, because we are seeing a lot of stress, in the society, and we have to help the society out of this. So, let's talk about it, as CDC says. Let's talk about it. Let's avail, the help of, the hemp oil and the CBD products, and get live a very energized and a fun-filled life. Yep.
Thank you so much, Indu. Oh my goodness, you guys are all just on fire. Love it. Samantha, we have two Samanthas on the call. So Samantha Salacup, I got you on the screen, love.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to emphasize how important mental health has become, and how it should be just as important and recognized as any other physical illness or condition, and to just stop any negative stigma that might come along with it, because just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, doesn't mean it's not affecting people just as much as anything else would that you can see. And just to always be kind and spread kindness to others, just because you don't know what else someone is dealing with internally, or something that they won't speak up about, and to just treat others how you want to be treated yourself.
I love it. Gandhi's principles. Thank you so much, love. That's so true. The kindness is so critical during these times of stress and unpredictability. So thank you so much, love.
Thank you.
Nicole?
So, considering that a lot of people have they've been needing to stay inside due to the pandemic, we've been kind of forced to face our emotions, because we don't really have anywhere else to release those sentiments or those forms of energy outside. So the fact that mental health has become such a prevalent topic of conversation, I think it has benefited more than harmed a lot of people. And yeah, I'm really excited about the products that we're releasing, because CBD, while it may still have some sort of negative connotation to it to some people, it does have a lot of benefits. And I think the more awareness that we give to people about how we can help you and relieve the stress that all of us are facing, unfortunately, that there are resources that you can utilize to improve your mental and physical health. And yeah, please look forward to it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. That was so insightful. All of you are just such a beacon of light for the world, and really appreciate the concepts. Samantha, Samantha Hampton. I always say I want to go to the Hamptons, but I have you on there, love. Can you hear me? You're on mute.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I really enjoyed this presentation. It gave a lot of useful information in terms of just everything that I think a lot of people can relate to. And I am looking forward to the new products coming, and just how we can continue this awareness forward and help people feel that they aren't alone.
Amazing, you guys. Thank you so much for everyone showing up, and really excited for our next week lineup of calls. Every week we have one celebrity that we interview, and then we do this internal discussion. And we're new, so we're getting our way in the door as we master the craft together. So thank you everyone who joined us, and yay, go team. We'll see everyone next week. Bye.